conversation explores the art of thinking beyond the obvious. And today I have my special guest. She's a tech founder, startup mentor, breast cancer survivor, and real talk on resilience, scaling, and grit. No other than Miss Sonia Couto. Welcome, Miss Sonia on Abstract Essay. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I
No, I think you pretty much nailed it. Besides, I live in Canada. And I was born in Portugal and moved to Canada when I was 10 years old.
Okay, so thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Miss Sonia. Thank you. So today, let's talk about what I learned fixing and failing startups and how you can avoid these mistakes. So let's start. Or when when you called into struggling startup, what are the
Mm.
top three vital signs you check first to diagnose the real problem beyond the surface level crisis?
I mean, the very first thing that I see is what stage are they at? Are they pre-revenue, post-revenue? And if they are post revenue, do they actually have paying clients? That's a huge indicator of whether they have a good product that people actually want and was it built properly. If they're pre revenue, then I try to understand why haven't they gone to post revenue yet, and what are the blockers blocking them from getting to that point. So I try to understand what's taking so long to get to that point and what are the struggles there.
Miss Sonia, let's talk about the founder's blind spot. What is the most common and often most dangerous blind spot you see in others, otherwise talented founders that leads them toward failure?
This is gonna sound a little, maybe people are not gonna agree with me, but I'm gonna say passion, because
Mm.
a lot of times founders get so passionate about the product or the idea that they have that it sort of blinds them to the reality of what it really takes to build that product out, the processes that they need to go through. A lot of founders have the mentality, and I include myself, that if you build it, they will come. And that is not true. That's not factual. That's not what's going to happen. There's a lot of work that needs to happen even prior to actually physically building your product or sourcing your product. There's a lot of work that has to happen behind the scenes to make sure that when you do start building that product, it's set up for success.
So, what is the, let's say, failing startup out still busy, right? Hiring, launching features, and holding meetings. What are the signs that activity is just sound and fury, signifying nothing and not actual progress?
Well, those sound to me like just keeping busy type of activities. It's really about having an action plan, right? So and not everyone works the same way, but for me, I always have, this is my business plan, this is what I want to work towards. So I want to do all of these things to justify the market that I'm going to sell into, is and then do market research. Is this the right market for me? Am I going after too many markets at once? Should I be focusing just on one market instead of putting out that wide net and hoping for some fish to come in? Should I just go after that one fish and do that really, really well? If that's the route that I decide to go, for example, then what's my action plan for that? So, okay, I need the team to do these pieces, and then make sure that they're going out and doing them, and not micromanaging but leading, making sure that meetings are productive. If meetings are not productive, cut out the meetings and put processes in place so that you don't have to have a meeting for every single question, every single thing that you need. And just make sure that they're holding themselves accountable to the lists and things that have been assigned to them, and that they're getting through them. And if they're not, what are the reasons? Are they stuck? And as a leader, that's when you have to step in and either mentor your team in the areas that they're struggling with and they need help with. Maybe they just need a push. to get better and push them to maybe learn a certain skill that they don't have. It's not about the team, it's about how you lead as a leader and guide them in the right direction, whether that's not micromanaging, but setting them up for success. And sometimes that means being a little hard on them and pushing them to be better.
To be better for sure. So, what is usually the very first subtle indicator in a startup about signals major trouble is ahead, long before the bank account runs dry?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say this again. It is, if you have a product out in the market and no one's buying it, then there are a couple of components that could be going wrong. Number one is it's not a good product and nobody wants it. And when I say it's not a good product, it means maybe you didn't version one, you didn't actually get it right on. You didn't understand what was the market that you were selling to, and you don't know what problem you're solving. Maybe you're trying to solve too many problems and the what you've built is too complex for people, or maybe it's too simple. Did you take the time to understand what your clients actually want and build a product that's going to help them solve problems, or did you just build a cool tool with AI features that nobody wants, right? That's the first
Mm-hmm.
indicator for me. The second indicator is um, you have a great product. 5 or 10 or 20 clients that you spoke to tell you this is a fantastic tool. I really want this. I need this. My business needs it. But yet you can't sell it. Well, then maybe your marketing is not being done right, right? Because at the end of the day, once you build a product, if it's a good product, clients will want it. So, how are you finding your clients? What kind of marketing outreach are you doing? And if they're not coming in and you're not building an inbound pipeline, including an outbound pipeline, then what are you doing marketing wise to build those pipelines? That's really the second part that's most vital. If you can't build a pipeline, if you can't get any customer engagement, if you can't get any buying clients, to me, that's the number one indicator that if you're running out of money now or if you're close to it, you're gonna run out if you don't solve those problems.
Let's talk about the product misalignment that you're talking about. Is the root cause of a failure more than a bad product or a great product built for a market that does not exist or won't pay? How can founders tell the difference earlier?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Sometimes, I'll just use myself as an example. I built a really great product back in 2010. The problem is that the product was ahead of its time and it was going to disrupt um, a very traditional industry. So when you're building a product that's a little bit ahead of its time, or it's going to be a disruptor to an old industry like Uber was a disruptor to taxi cabs, you have to be prepared that you're going to get a lot of backlash and it's going to be a harder road ahead than it would be to build like a simple little app, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
have to sort of be prepared for that ahead of time. For me, I wasn't prepared for it. I just knew that we had a really good product that was solving a real problem. Nobody was really doing it, but I didn't take the time to understand why no one had been ahead of me and done that and why they hadn't, because of the hesitation that was going to happen from the industries that would use this tool, the fear factor around using a software application versus just doing something with paper and pen. So there was a lot of components to it, the compliance being another one of them, and I just didn't think about it. So when we went to market, we at first failed. We were able to come back from that failure and pivot and learn from it, but unfortunately it took us a lot of failures in order to understand what we had done, and that was a big piece. Was we had a great product, and a lot of founders have great products. They just don't understand the market that they're going to sell to and the pain points that already exist there.
Miss Sonia, we talk about product market fit. What about founder problem fit? Have you seen a startups with a valid market fail because the founders were the wrong people to solve the specific problem?
all the time. um, More often than you think. I think again, I'm going to go back to that point where founders are passionate about what their idea or what they're building, and I always say that founders are inventors. They're not CEOs. Not all, maybe
Mm-hmm,
some.
mm-hmm,
So founders are inventors. They're the people that come up with an idea and say, this is such a genius idea, and they go out and build it. They're operators, really. They're in the ground, they're building. While they're building this product, they're building a team. They can work with the team to build a product. The operator part of it, they're really good at. But the CEO part of it, managing money, managing different types of teams, HR, sales, marketing, aside from just the development team. There's so much that goes into it that a lot of founders don't know about when they first start. And that's sort of what might lead them to fail as a CEO, is because they're not prepared for that. Some founders have the privilege to learn as they go, like myself, and sort of build that muscle that they never had before. But some founders are just not good at that, and it's not what they should be doing. They're really good at being operators. And that's when I say bring on a co-founder who can complement what you can't do, and then build a really good duo around that.
Let's talk about the ego versus the evidence. How do you handle a founder who is emotionally attached to their initial idea that they refuse to see overwhelming evidence that is not working?
I call that stubbornness. I see it all the time.
True.
Look, like the the proof is in the pudding, right? Like if
Mm-hmm.
you've been at this for 5 years and you've gotten nowhere and you have not one single client, or you've been at it for 10 years, like if you've raised a bunch of money, yeah, okay, maybe there's you're still in the research and development phase, great. But if you're not and nobody wants your product, like y- founders need to realize, like, it's time to let it go. You can't keep beating a dead horse and hope that it's magically going to come back to life, right? There has to be
Mm-hmm.
a point where you say, like, okay, I need to stop this. I've had that happen to me where had a product. I was part of the founding team, lost the entire team, and then I had to make a decision. Do I keep going at this alone, or what do I do? And I decided to shelf the product for a good year. It didn't mean that the product was dead. It meant I'm going to step away and I'm going to just put it aside for a second. When I decided to come back to it, I came back to it with a fresh mind. I wasn't like stuck in it. When you're stuck in something, it's so much harder to come out of it. So sometimes it's not just about saying, I'm going to kill this because there's nowhere to go with it. It's just a matter of putting it aside for a little bit and then coming back to it with a fresh mind, fresh thinking, fresh plan, and saying, oh, you know what? I actually was going about this the wrong way. This is really the approach that I'm going to take because I've taken 6 months or a year or two to really figure this out now. And now I can go ahead with it and make it successful.
Mm. Interesting and wow, empowering answer. Miss Sonia, the founder's identity crisis. When a startup is failing, the founder's identity is often tied to it. How do you help them separate the self worth from the company's performance so they can lead effectively?
I always tell founders, if you're building a product and eventually someone's going to come in and acquire you, or you want to be acquired and sell, you don't want to be in this forever, which most founders don't. I always tell them no one is going to buy a company that's 100% dependent on the founder. So sales is dependent on the founder because the founder is the face of the company. Nobody wants that, because then if they buy you out, if you get bought out, the company and the founder leaves, the company's going to go nowhere. It's going to take 5 times the extra effort to try and get it to that point. So I always tell founders early on, like, go into this, it's your baby, but don't make it so dependent on you. Make sure that you have a team, that you delegate, and you can be like the face of the product, but the product is not dependent on you to sell it. It's the product's not dependent on you to have a life, um, uh, a life expectancy even if you get sold. So I think that's really part of it, is like a founder going into it with maybe the mentality that eventually they're going to exit or they're going to walk away and build something else. This is just a temporary thing. And if they are going to be in it, they have to understand that like there is a balance. I personally don't believe in like a work life balance. I think that when you're running a business, when you're a founder, you sort of have to find a way to intertwine both of them. So things like, oh, people say all the time, you need to take a vacation. If someone says that to me, I'm like, I'm going to take a vacation, but I'm going to take my laptop with me. I'm going to check my email. I'm not going to check out. That's the pressure that gets put on founders all the time. It's like you have to turn off from work. And for me, it's like I will enjoy a vacation more and have my mind at ease if I know that every day on my vacation I'm going to wake up and for the first 10-15 minutes of my day I'm going to check my email. I'm going to check my phone. I'm going to do what I got to do for those 10-15 minutes. And then I'm going to put it away and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day. Now, I'm also not stressed out about coming back from vacation and having a mailbox full of emails and messages and fires to put out, right? So I think it's about finding a balance where you can still do what you need to do business wise, but also live your life and not feel all that stress that comes down with being a founder.
Yes, definitely. So, Miss Sonia, as an entrepreneur, what are your short-term and long-term goals?
I want to keep building. I'm already looking at now with AI being out. It's so much easier to build MVPs and prototypes of products and apps and things like that. So I'm already looking at different products that I want to build, problems that I want to solve, and so I don't think that's ever going to stop for me. That's just what I like to do.
Good luck to your goals, Miss Sonia. Looking forward for more success. And what will be your piece of advice for those people that don't want to be like you?
Like me. Well, you don't want to be like me. No. Um do the work. Do the work, do the research and be consistent.
Mm. Consistency is the key, people. It's hard to do, but you need to be consistent. And thank you for that advice, Ms. Sonia. So, what is a more insightful metric than burn rate that founders should watch to understand their true financial health and runway?
Well, most founders don't even know what that means because they don't have an accounting background. So I say,
True.
I say before you can even get to understanding all of that, make sure you have someone with financial literacy on your team to guide you through understanding all those different steps.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So the one unforgivable mistake, Miss Sonia, in all your experiences, what is the one mistake, or whether strategic, ethical, or operational, that you've seen be almost impossible to recover from?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. That's almost impossible to recover from. Listen, I think like if you've hit a road where you've run out of money or you're bankrupt and you're still trying to do this,
Mm-hmm.
eh, and you've used your own personal money or you've lost your house, that like if you've lost your house over this, you're done.
Definitely. Totally done, people. It's time to pivot.
Hmm.
Stand up again. Do it again. Try and try until you succeed. And you need to learn from your mistake to be successful. Then do it with consistency, mindset, and for sure have faith in everything you do. So, Miss Sonia, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, because my abstract essay is already in sixth season, abstract poetry in third season, and my book 101 review in sixth season as well. Comedy 101 in third season, and food 101 in sixth season too. Geography 101 Love Letters, Movie 101 Review, Music 101, fifth season, Science 101, Sex 101, in fourth season, Trivia 101, Law 101, Mental Health 101, Motivation 101, Entrepreneurship 101, and of course, my Bible Verses 101 are my baby podcasts. So please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Sonia, the
Hmm.
antidote to failure. If you had to distill all your learning into one piece of a counterintuitive advice for a new founder, what would it be?
For a brand new founder,
Yes, please.
I think it would be, like if you're really passionate about what you want to do, be smart about it. Don't take risks until you've done all the work to identify that what you want to build and what you want to do is there's really a need for it.
Definitely. So, Miss Sonia, can you please invite the listeners to support your podcast, your books, your business, whatever projects that you're doing right now?
Yeah, I'm always doing something, but you can check me out. I have lots of different websites, but my main one, soniacouto.com, has everything that I do, including my podcast, Tenacity with Sonia C. All of the tools, the AI tools that I've built. I have a toolkit. So yeah, check it out, soniacouto.com, and contact me if there's anything that you need help with. If you're a founder and you're in that journey, let me know and let me see what we can talk about.
Yes, people lots about Miss Sonia Couto because if you support her for more and more empowering advocacy like this will rise. So Miss Sonia, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
What do you got, people? See you soon.